Hi, GenderBlenders. Welcome to week 108. This is Stuffy with a slight cold, so pardon the hoarseness. And this week's question is a viewer question. Came in from a viewer. And he asks for FTMs having gyno appointments and MTFs, prostate exams. I am an FTM, 6 months on T, and my family wants me to go see a gyno. So any information and whatnot would be helpful. Well, I'm sure he's a little bit scared at going to a gynecologist for the first time. I know I was going to for my prostate exam the first time on hormones. And I'll get into that. You know, it's the fear issue. It's unknown to us. But I'm sure glad I went. It was a positive experience. See, a little teeny bit of background. I've had prostate problems for a long time. Many years now, actually. And so consequently, going for annual and sometimes even quarterly prostate exams is not unknown to me at all. So I was used to going to see the doctor. But you know, the first time I went that I was on hormones, it was a different story. You know, you wonder, what's the office going to say? What's the receptionist going to think? What are the patients going to think? And so forth. What's the doctor's reaction going to be? You know, the first time I went on hormones, I was only on hormones for a couple of times, still in the closet, kind of using that exam as a test, not only for me, but for the doctor. And nothing happened at that exam. It was just like a normal exam. The doctor didn't say a dang thing. Like, he missed it totally. And it disappointed me. Because, here I'm thinking, he's got to notice that there's some breast developing here. Now, I was only on it a few months, and I'm looking at them, and there's more than zero, but for him, he sees a range of patients. He doesn't remember what mine used to look like, so he probably never thought of anything out of the ordinary. So, nothing was terribly obvious. My features were still male-ish, so he didn't see anything, but I was still nevertheless disappointed that he didn't do anything. So the next year after that, now, 1 year plus on hormones makes a big difference. I was passing very well, living full time, doing wonderful things, not in the closet, not at all embarrassed about myself at all. So the next time I set up an appointment, I told them I was transgender. And right up front, and asked them, is this going to be a problem for you or the doctor? And they said, no, we'll take money anywhere we can get it. That was the bottom line. They didn't quite say it in those words, but that was kind of the thought. So I walked into the doctor's office. I had no problems with the folks, the receptionist folks, and the people that take the insurance cards and stuff. Had no problems in the office. I got a couple of sideways glances from some of the other folks, and I figured, what the hell's a broad doing for a prostate doctor kind of a thing, proctologist. But no problems at all. Went in to see the doctor and had a good exam. And I'm actually very, 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 very glad that I did go to see that doctor. And so here's some information, and here's what can be helpful. Tell them up front what's going on. It was, I was scared. I'm telling you, I was scared, what's going to happen here. But as it turns out, the doctor had so much information, it was absolutely worthwhile for me to have done what I did. Because I go to the doctor and he congratulated me confirmed that what we're going through is a physical issue. As it turns out, some of the postdoctoral studies that he did was on this condition. And he says it's surprising. You'd be surprised that it's much more common than you might imagine that it is. In the course of his career, and he's, I guess, in upper 40s, lower 50s kind of a age, maybe mid 50s, somewhere in that general area. So he's been practicing for several dozen years. But he said he's seen 50 to 100 people that have this condition. He has seen that many. So that, I didn't ask him what percentage that was, but, it's got to be more than just a couple percent. But what he did say is most people hide it, and they chicken out, and they don't do anything about it. So he actually congratulated me with the courage to follow through, because it is a physical condition. So that was lots of good information. So rather than being chastised or anything like that, what do you think you're doing kind of a thing, I got congratulated at the doctor's office. And I got a lot of information to boot. So I have nothing but positive things to say about what happened in my proctologist or prostate exam. Did I get a prostate exam at that time? Yes, I did. Still will have to do that the rest of my life. Even after SRS, I still have a prostate. As it turns out, one of the side benefits is I had been on Avdart for several years now because of prostate issues. And unbeknownst to me, the estrogen that I'm taking for my condition serves the same purpose. So he took me off the Avdart. He says, you don't need it anymore. And indeed, I didn't need it anymore. Now, there are several reasons for taking Avdart. One, it shrinks the prostate, so it makes your pee easier. But indeed, it's a mild anti-androgen, and for when I was self-medicating, I was actually using that as my anti-androgen drug. Subsequent to that, I went on Spiro. Now, after the SRS, I'm off of the Spiro. Don't need it anymore. But I was taking that. The other side effect of Avdart is it helps your hair. Now, again, estrogen does that as well, so I'm not losing any more hair. My hairline has, well, that side, you can tell my hairline has receded to some extent, but for a 64-year-old broad, I'm doing pretty good. So anyway, bottom line is, we fear more than the reality is. And you really don't have to fear that, because a lot of the things that we're doing are just natural processes. And, the doctors are sometimes quite helpful. I know in my case that doctor is helpful. And, my opinion of him went up several notches because of that conversation. Because he was able to give me information, and he was able to show me, what's going on. Some things that I didn't know, as much research as I had done. So that's my take on this week's video. I hope it is informative. And to the viewer out there, if you're watching this, good luck on your gynecologist exam. And let us know how it works out. And again, for everyone out there, give us questions, leave us comments. It's through those questions and comments that help us understand what's going on. And the backdrop, the butterfly is the symbol for transgenders, right? So I thought I'd do that. Anyway, this is Steffi saying, until next week, bye-bye, everyone.